3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Colin Richards again from the Arts of Mars HEMA Club in Hanover, Germany. I'm speaking in English because this is a sort of counter video to Duncan's last video, and I'm wanting him to understand it, okay? I really don't like these videos, a medium of sharing this sort of stuff, but it's the best we can do. So I'm going to go into it in quite a lot of detail, but quickly, and I'm going to try and cover the points which were sort of not clear in the last video, so that a bit of clarity can come. And I'm also going to state my own personal view of the books and the drawings and everything. Okay, so first let's get that out of the way. My personal opinion is that we are dealing with very accurate drawings. I get this information from having stayed with Brian Stokes in America, who in the whole world has probably had the most access to the Getty book. He's probably seen it 100 times. He lives very close, he's got time on his hands and he can go there. And he says that there's like 43 to 47 redrawings of positions, hand positions mainly, to make sure that it's really correct and really accurate. So he believes, and I'm pretty much believing with him, that it's a very accurate description. He did some research into the perspective of the period, and he said one way to sort of realign all the figures is you look where the figure is looking, and you turn the head to where the enemy is, and vice versa, and that is going to be your actual position. This changes the perspective slightly. So with this in mind, the first technique, if it's seen like this, is actually like more like this, because he's going to bring his head around, and this makes sense because it now aligns this perfectly up with the line of the attack. So that's the first point I'd like you to know, is that I believe that these are not ideas, they're actual nodal points in techniques that we can follow. We just have to know how to interpret them. And the second thing is, I'm a bit of a stickler for following these books. I don't want to add anything on top that's sort of modern or combative or something. I just take what I get. If it doesn't work, I start working around it, but I try to make it work with what I've got in the pictures. We've got a lot of books to go at, and so we should get quite close to it. So that's my opinion about it. Where I do say that there will be some differences is if I get attacked, I'm being attacked from the front and someone comes from the side, then my footwork will change in the technique in order to realign myself to the second threat after I've dealt with the first threat. So there is a grounds for different types of stepping, but the general technique is pretty much what I follow is the pictures. Second thing is, I've been ill for the last 4 days, so I'm not particularly bushy-eyed and fluffy-tailed, so you'll have to forgive me. And also, I haven't done a lot of Dagger since COVID started. And the last time I saw Brian was just before COVID started in America, when I was with him for 2 weeks. So. Okay, so let's try and look at some of the things that didn't come over well in the first video. First thing is that I don't hold a straight arm. This doesn't make any sense. My arm is bent here, always bent. It's a skeletal block. I'm using, the energy flows down my arm, through my body and into the ground, and that means the opponent is pushing against the earth, not me. I'm just a conduit for the energy. So you can't really see that until you have the camera in the right angle. So another thing here, which is very important, if Lucas comes in and does the attack, I do my block, and you can't really see it. My arm is actually bent, and the other thing I demonstrated is that he's pushing, and I can take all the energy through my body into the floor. Now, I only do this to show you that I'm actually just holding the energy. If he goes away, I don't fall over. Come on. Pretty old. He pushes. I'm not putting my foot back down. It goes away.
unbalanced. It's a neutral energy position. I'm trying to feel what energy he's doing before I apply any. So I don't, it doesn't come over well in the video, but I'm only doing that to show you that I'm in a neutral position, absorbing his energy and distributing it into the ground. Okay, so that's our main problems covered about sort of what's difficult to see in videos, and trying to re-explain it. So now, I want to address some of the points that you made, Duncan, about the first one being, which is fairly simple to show, is when he's coming in quite hard, you're saying I have to deal with him, but not just the dagger, I have to deal with both. Well, if I'm dealing with the dagger is attached to him by an arm, I'm dealing with him as well. It just depends how I redistribute his energy in relation to my position. So when he comes in, we're going to do it slowly to start off with, because of dangerous hand movements and stuff. So he's going to come and he's going to strike. I'm going to take it. Right, so he's pretty strong here. So when he's going to come forward quite fast, I'm going off here. Which basically doesn't matter what he does with that hand, he can keep pursuing me if he wants, and it's not going to happen. And then that's going on the floor. If you come here, this will go on the floor. And then, again, I will redistribute his arms wherever I want. Now, we're going to do that slightly faster. Now, this is dangerous because I haven't been training for a lot on Dagger. We're going to do it slightly faster, and my hands aren't so good at the moment. So, when he comes in, I'm going to go off. He can pursue me as fast as he wants. It's not like I've got the dagger now. We're going to do it faster later, but we'll just do it like that now. The other point here is, he has to nail me in one. If he isn't nailing me pretty quickly after the attack, if he's spending ages trying to nail me, I've got a dagger too. This is the whole point about the medieval milieu. They're not in isolation. He's got a dagger and I don't. We all have a dagger. So he comes in, bang, he's going to hit me. No. I get rid of his dagger, then I've got one. So you can't take it out of context of the medieval situation. Is he's very scared that I get time to pull my dagger. And I'm not that scared if he fails with his attack, because I know I'm going to pull my dagger. And Fiore quite through his entire book, does emphasise the fact that is the dagger out or is the dagger not out? He says in one point, if my dagger's not good enough, I'll take his dagger and use it against him. So you have to maintain in your head, I've always got a dagger, and he is going to be frightened if I get the chance to get it out, because then we're equals, or not equal if I've disarmed him already. So one last try, he becomes quite fast, and so I go out, take it. He's still coming for me. If I dropped it on the floor, breaking his arm. And you can do that technique in all sorts of directions. I can actually do this, just put the sword down, the dagger down. I can actually take it and go this way. It's irrelevant where I go, as long as I've got the arm. So in answer to this bull rush, I'm just simply going to put his arm in front of his own body, and he's blocked by it, while extending his arm and stepping offline, and then, after the disarm, I can do what I like with his arm. Right, so now we're going to answer some more questions. So we're going to change to markers. Who's going to come with a metal sword, dagger, and we do this clamping down thing that you mentioned, and we use metal so as I can feel how horrible it is. So he comes in. Now, I'm going to analyse this. So when he starts to clamp down, you can see his hand leg here is now, his wrist is now bent. So he hasn't got the same flow of energy here through to the sword. Once I feel this go, I've got several techniques I can use. Once I feel this happening, I just the energy he's putting in is going in that direction, so that's where I go. I just follow the energy loop here. He pulling in, and I just follow it. Thank you. It makes it easier. The technique even easier to do. He does it again. And he starts to clamp. Thank you. That was very kind of him. He's very hard for him to clamp and cut rush at the same time. And if he does, I just go over here. Yeah, thank you. Still got his arm. Into the third master. So the clamping doesn't do any good. Also, I have this counter, which is, if he starts doing this clamping, I just go into the disarm. Technique number, whatever it is. I wouldn't do that one, I do the other one, because he has the chance of doing the counter by grabbing the tip of the blade, and going underneath. So then we're going to look at the other possibility that you mentioned, is what if he, I'll just do another counter that he can do. So he can make the scissors here by bringing this hand in here and clamping it on my arm. As soon as I feel this hand moving, sorry, it's a little sore throat, I step here and elbow push him through, kick him in the net, and then here, then I put my dagger out. It's a really bad thing. The most seen counter technique in the whole of Fiore is an elbow push. So as soon as he comes to do the scissors on me, basically a clamping here, I just go, oh thanks, I follow the energy, and then go through the face. He's really open here. Who's winning? This is the question. And it isn't him. Okay? The final question is, if you change back to the wooden one, please. The final question is, what if we have someone who's coming in really hard with the initial attack? Fiore says, in that technique, I think it's technique number 8, he says, it's not very often seen, but this technique, blah, blah, blah. It's not often seen because probably people know not to come in like a bull in a china shop. So if he comes very fast in, I'm going to step out, block him, and then I'm in. And then it's goodbye. Or I could change to the third master. Straight in. Huh? Not very well done. So this why this technique is here. If he comes in really fast, I'm not going to put my hand underneath there. I'm going to go, oh, he's coming fast. Thank you. That's down. So that's some of the answers to the whole question that we've got here. Is I am seeking to find only things in the book to answer all the questions. So if we just do that one attack, slow attack, this time I reorientate the center of my body with the line of the attack. If he comes with anything on this side, I put the dagger in front of him, and then he can't step again because I go over here. And then, if he starts to pull his hand in, I go into the third meister. Right, the last point of the video, if you have to come over here, is what do I do if my environment is restricted and I can't go offline? Down here, please. Well, his environment's restricted as well. So now I'm going to change to the fourth master. Because I can't go anywhere and his attack is straight down the line. Okay? The final question is, I need extra techniques that are the same technique but in different directions in case people of a 3D fighting environment, in case people are coming from different angles. So one thing, if he's doing the first attack, I've orientated to this, someone's coming from here on my left with an attack, then I'm going to take him out this way, putting him in the way of the opponent. Then I'm going to take the weapon out of his hands and break his arm, or push him straight into the opponent. If I've got a person who's coming in this way, I would be going out this way and breaking his arm, putting him in the way of them. If I've got someone coming from directly from behind, I would go this way and turn him. I know he's being very passive, but Marcus is a very nice guy, so I don't want to hurt him. So that sort of concludes my whole view of the first technique, is that if we keep working on this, turning from the shoulder and stepping offline and using his own arm to defend against any future attacks that he may make, he gets in a terrible mess. Not only is he obstructed by his own arm, he's almost falling over trying to catch me, because I'm not going backwards. I'm always going to go offline. I'm always going to cross the center line to confuse him as well. So I start going this way, he turns, I go back across the center line. And that is the answer. So, if they clamp on your hand, follow the energy. If they try and clamp the dagger, do an elbow push. If they come in really hard, use the parry technique. If they keep pursuing you, go offline and turn from the shoulder. Never collapse the arm in, that gives them energy to launch an attack. And make sure that you're stepping over the line or off the line when you execute techniques, and you'll find that he has no resources left. And that is my sort of answer. That's my opinion of the whole first master in quite a lot of detail. Not full detail, but most detail. There's one other point that you did mention, I just remembered, is catching the attack. Well, I'm going to catch with my thumb in line with my fingers and then grab it. And also, if you're not catching it along these fingers here, you have to practice a lot. You have to keep practicing and practicing and practicing at different speeds from different angles. And eventually, it'll come. So, that's my view anyway. Thank you very much for listening. It's been a long video. We've covered a lot of information. But hopefully that will answer all the questions. We don't need another forward and back video, from my point of view anyway. Thank you. artsofmars.com, Hanover. Come anytime you like. All people are welcome. We train on Wednesday and Friday nights. Bye. See you.